Welcome to Voice of Immigration. I'm your host, John Veely. I'm an immigration attorney and CEO of Online Visas. These are 5 things you need to know on how to win an O1 visa or an EB1 green card in business or for entrepreneurs. One of the questions I'm asked most as an immigration attorney from those in business or from entrepreneurs is, do I qualify for an extraordinary ability O1 visa or an EB1 green card? So I'm going to lay out 5 things that can help you analyze your situation. And if you don't yet meet that criteria, I'll give you some tips on what to do to meet those standards to win an extraordinary ability visa and work and live in the United States. Now remember, go to onlinevisas.com and you can set up a strategy session with us and we'll go through your case specifically, or go to onlinevisas.com and check out the O1 or the EB1 visa under our categories of visas, and you'll find out an opportunity on how you can check out a webinar, either live or a pre-recorded one on this subject where we'll go much more in depth. But right now, here's 5 things to think about. Number 1, what do you do best in your field? So a lot of people tell me, hey, I own a company, we have this startup, or we have this great service or tool that will change the world. They worked or have worked for a great company or graduated from an impressive business school or university. These are important and impressive things, but if it's not about that. It's what you've achieved in the industry. How do you do your specific process, your method, your knowledge, your thing better than anybody else in the industry, or better than most in the industry, or in your country, or in the world? This is the key. What's your specialization? What is your niche? This is how we paint the picture, and this is how we build your case. So number 2, how have you been recognized for your skills in your field? It happens often that people may be one of the best in their fields at something, but have never received any recognition or the right kind of recognition. Maybe they've been buried in a company that has done great things, and they're the worker bee that's done it all, but they don't have any recognition for what they've done. So there's a number of options where you need to meet at least 3 to win these visas. These are what the criteria are. So I'm going to go through those criteria and give you a couple tips. So number 1 is national or international awards or prizes of excellence in the field. So the thing is, are they about you? Or does it say it's the best businessman in your country? That would be easy, right? But many times they're not. It might be about your company. It might be about your division. And then it's finding out, how do we link those to you? So there are 3 types of evidence. Primary evidence is like a brick. It's like the award itself. It's an article about the award. Secondary evidence is necessary to evaluate that. That's going to be an expert or somebody in the company that can say, here's what you did, but it can't be in the place of that primary evidence. And tertiary evidence can be, say, an article about the award. It doesn't name you or the company. It just says this is a great award, so winning it is impressive, right? So those things taken together are how you can connect those dots and go from there. Number 2, being a member of an association whose membership requires outstanding achievements judged by national or internationally recognized experts in the discipline. Is it a big organization that takes everyone with a fee? Those are the ones that don't work, right? Those don't work. It's you can't just be something you can sign up and pay a fee to be in. What you have to look at is, what's the criteria to join, and does that criteria have a threshold that requires some achievements of some level? If it does, then you might be there. And then who's making that decision, right? Find that out, and then you got to prove that you were nominated or awarded that, all right? So number 3. The work has been featured in major media or high-profile trade publications, right? Is it about you also here, or is it about your company, or is it linked to you in some of these other ways? That's what you need to do. So make sure, first of all, that it's the right type of media. Trade journals can be easier to get than major media. Major media is difficult to get in, obviously, and if you do get in it, what does it say, right? So if it's a glancing thing, you've seen immigration say, that's not very impressive. So those are things that we can work on and tell you where the standard is. Number 4, served in as a judge of the work of others, either on a panel or individually. Now, what doesn't work is if that's what you do, like a teacher or a professor or a coach. That they judge every day, right? But it has to be something other than that. So in the business world, is it Shark Tanks or hackathons, or were you maybe brought in by a local university to judge the work of some of their students? Those are great things that you could pick up and get invited to. And then it's the evidence behind that, the flyers, the emails, those things. Number 5, have you had articles published in a scholarly publication? If you have, then are you noted in Google Scholar? That's a great place they like to look, where how many times you've been cited, are you the first author, are you way down the list, how many have you done, how significant is it, those sorts of things. Number 6, have you made original scientific, academic, or business contributions of major significance in your field? A lot of people say, hey, I've got a patent. Well, is your patent in commerce? If it's not, they don't much recognize it. It doesn't have to be a patent, though, if your method or technique or process or tool is being used significantly and you can tie yourself to it with other evidence, such as articles or websites or any kind of development of it, you might be able to make that argument as well. Number 7, have you served in a leading or critical capacity for organizations or establishment? Here's where you've worked for the company, and so you need to have the primary evidence, such as your contract, something like that. Website shows that you're that role, or some correspondence putting you in that position. But then this is where the letter of recommendation comes in, and they can specifically say what you've done, but more importantly, how has it impacted the company? Has the company sold a lot of something? Has the company invented something because you did it and it puts them in this other role? Has the company now been sold to another company because of the work you've done? Is it significant to the company as a whole? That's the deal. High salary. High salary can be shown through your contract or your pay slips, but also it has to be judged against some database. The FLC data center is what we use for other visas like the H-1B. We can use it here to show that you're highly above the standard, level 4 or higher, or just above all of it. And then there's comparable evidence. So maybe you've spoken at some conferences. That in itself is not one of the criteria, but some of those conferences are really important, and you can do that. This is where you don't want to try to say something fits in something it doesn't. I'll talk about that a little bit more. If you really want to learn more about your case, again, go to onlinevisas.com, set up a strategy session with us, and we'll go through your case, specifically on what your points are that make it, in our opinion, and what don't, and what else you can do. And if you also want to learn more, go to our webinars, where you can learn an hour long of this information, really breaking these things down. So they're much more in depth than we went through, and we hope that it'll help you out. So I'm John Veely. I'm the CEO of Online Visas, and we deliver dreams.